Hello, I'm Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and in this episode, I want to offer you a fundamental question to ask whenever you get a no from someone during a negotiation. Now, this primarily pertains to when you're asking for a pay raise, but it applies to other stuff as well, and it comes from Alexandra Carter, who wrote the book Ask for More. I was introduced to Alexandra Carter through an interview that she did with Marie Forleo, and that piqued my curiosity, and so I checked out the book, and I want to share this question that is a huge takeaway from her work for you that I think can benefit. But before I get into it, I want to take the opportunity to invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. That way you get all the various lessons and episodes that I put out right when I put them out. Thank you if you just did, and also truly appreciate you if you already were. It means a lot to me. Also, just as a quick note, I am at Gasworks Park in Seattle, and so you're getting some audio verite, if you will, of the waves and the wind and things like that. Hopefully it adds rather than tracks. Okay, so one of the things that Alexandra talks about is whenever you're thinking about negotiation for a pay raise, you should always kind of do it in increments, right? Don't just pick a day and then just attack it. Like, this should be an ongoing process, right? You should always be communicating with your bosses and things like that to see the things that you're doing right and things that you can improve. Not necessarily, just kind of quick stuff, right? It doesn't have to be this formal 30-minute conversation every single time, but that'll give you a good gauge of where you're sort of at. Now, the question that is the key question in all of this, if you get a no for something, is to ask, what's your concern? Right? Because then it allows them to highlight, okay, what is their concern about, having said no to you? And then by doing that, you can address it. But you can't address something that you don't know. And so this question couldn't be more critical to ask within a negotiation, right? Within anything. If someone gives you a no, just have the wherewithal to ask, what is your concern? And when they give you their concern, which sometimes they might tippy-toe around because, it's a very direct question, and let's face it, a lot of us aren't really good at being confronted directly, and certainly aren't good at answering fully when asked direct questions. It's just, it's not part of our culture, really. It's an odd thing, but I'm not going to explore why that is at this stage in time. But the idea is, they might stumble for an answer. So in a polite way, right? This doesn't mean be rude about it, but in a polite way, keep asking until you get the actual answer of what their concern is, because then once you have that, you can start to address it. And this is where being, having some forethought to have thought about it. Maybe it's a budgetary thing or whatever else. Think about it ahead of time so you have something prepared as much as you can, but also the ability to think on your feet, because the concern that might be brought up might be something you haven't thought about. And so being able to ease their concerns will get you to a yes, or at least it'll open the door to that yes, rather than them. They've already said no, and so if they're sort of backtracking and giving you their concerns, that means there's at least a slight chance that they can reconsider, correct? So that is what you want to ask, and that is how you want to approach it and attack it in those situations. Think about what their concerns could be, and also be able to think on your feet. Part of how I like to, practice for the second one is do like a mock interview of some kind. This could be with friends and family, where they just ask random questions to see if you can really think on your toes and respond well. And it's a practice that I try to do myself, throughout. Also, it's I try to provide it for others, work with them and ask them various questions. Now, I think part of that happens for me naturally, right? Because I love having deep discussions with my friends, and so it's not like this like game night type of situation. It's more like, we talk about very deep issues already. And so, we always try to come up with solutions whenever we ask those things. And so it's just part of my everyday lifestyle. So I would encourage you to kind of incorporate that into it as well. But really, that's the lesson. Whenever you get a no, just always ask, what is your concern? Okay? Because that can, it's almost like sticking your foot out into the door before it fully closes. To be like, wait, let's talk about this, and then you can address that. So that's the advice I have for you. I hope it is beneficial in your life. It's a very simple question, but oftentimes the most simple and obvious truths are the most beneficial and pertinent to our lives. And so I hope you employ it as such. If you have any questions or thoughts of your own, by all means, please share down below in the comments section, or hit me up on social media at Svitek. I would love to converse with you. If you think that this lesson would benefit somebody in your life, by all means, share it with them. I certainly would appreciate it. Thank you, and I hope to see you next time.